Hey there everyone again at YouTube. I am here today to talk about the new movie starring the duo of Key and Peele called Keanu. So, without further ado, let's get right into the review. So just for reference, I am going to be referring to the duo of Key and Peele as Key and Peele because their names are really long and I'd rather just not say them all every time I said their names, and I don't even really remember what their names in the movie were. So, the movie revolves around the guy played by Peel finds this kitten shows up at his doorstep one day, and he takes it in, he calls it Keanu, and then eventually, however, it gets stolen from him by this drug gang, basically. And so him and his friend, played by Keegan-Michael Key, have to infiltrate this drug organization and everything in order to get the kitten back. And it's honestly is one of the funniest movies I've seen this year. Of course, immediately you can tell one of the best things about this movie is the chemistry between both Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele. These two, I actually really enjoyed their sketch comedy show. I have laughed at quite a few of their skits, and I think they're pretty funny people. So, when I saw that they were transitioning from a sketch comedy show to an actual movie, I was a little bit hesitant, because it seems like comedies nowadays, almost any comedy that comes out, is just boring and cliche and underwhelming and not funny, in my opinion at least. There's just so many that are so bad that you won't ever expect any to be good anymore. So, I was, of course, not looking forward to this movie. I didn't even think about the movie. I didn't go like, I definitely want to see Keanu. Oh yeah. So, I started seeing the scores I started hearing some pretty good reviews about it, so I'm like, okay, I'll go watch it. I watched it and it was hilarious. I laughed my butt off so many times in this movie. Like, my sides were hurting at points. Especially, there was certain times like when Key's character was like trying to convince all these drug dealers that George Michaels was like a cool dude and like and just a homie and everything. It was like one of the best things ever. And then like they did this whole part with this like drug trip that he went on, and then there's an awesome Keanu Reeves cameo in the film, and it was perfect. The entire scene there was perfect. I laughed my butt off at so much of the stuff that really I didn't pay attention to most of the story. So, that doesn't mean I didn't pay attention to the story, because I watched the entire movie. Of course I paid attention to the story. But, for the most part, the story, who cares? I mean, it's really pointless. It's really, I don't want to say certainly cliche, but I do think the story wasn't really the most important thing about this movie. I really like how these guys, like, had to transition from being just these ordinary dudes to, like, these, down low thug life, homies and everything. It just was hilarious. I thought that they really played that off really well. Again, the chemistry between both Key and Peele is amazing, and it's so good that sometimes, even if a joke doesn't really fall right, when they're on screen together and they do it, like it doesn't feel like it was forced or anything. It feels like it was still pretty funny, and like it was real from these two guys. And also, I have to talk about the freaking kitten Keanu. That thing is like the cutest thing ever. I just wanted to grab it and hold it. I have a cat, but she probably wouldn't sit for 2 seconds here so I could show her off. She doesn't like being held at all. And then there's these two people called I can't remember what their name, Allentown brothers, and they're basically like a mix of like Neo from The Matrix, Jason from Friday the 13th, and Liam Neeson. I guess I want to say. Oh, the Boondock Saints, that's who it is, yeah. Basically like a mix of all of those people. They don't talk, and they go and kill people, and they want this cat from these drug dealers as well. For some reason, I don't know why. And yeah, they really made for a funny, stupid part of the movie. And then, yeah, the movie was pretty funny. It was really good until about, I want to say it was the third act. It might have been like the last 20 minutes of the 20, maybe 30 minutes of the movie, in which it got really action heavy. And sometimes it's not usually a bad thing, but sometimes it can make your fun comedy go from really fun to cliche really fast, because it does like the thing where the people go in slow motion and they start shooting the guns and everything and trying to be funny and everything. And yeah, it's funny when you see it like for the first 2 times, and then when you start seeing it in like every comedy ever, it gets a little bit boring and like, oh come on, they're doing this again. It's like the when in movies you see the people get mad at each other for 5 minutes and then they get back together just in the movie, something like that. And it gets really cliche, really boring, really fast. And that was one of my biggest problems with the movie. I'm not saying parts of it weren't funny, I'm just saying that I kind of just tuned out the last however many minutes of the movie because I had seen it, stuff like this all before. The ending was barely funny because like they get arrested because of all this illegal stuff they did, so they actually get sent to prison. I thought that was pretty funny. I know it's spoilers, but really, you're not gonna care. I mean, sorry, that's a minor spoiler warning, but yeah, that's just what happens at the end. It's nothing really big that spoils the movie except for that part in the movie. And other than that, the only other bad thing I could find was that sometimes it felt as though, yeah, like there were inconsistencies in the writing of the movie. So, for example, there were times in which you're starting to get to the end, and they're starting to explain stuff that happened in the movie, and then you like see that like these characters that weren't actually dead at one point, that didn't die, and then you're like, but wait a second, how did they do that? What? And so and there was a few other parts, I can't think of them all off the top of my head though, but it really made for some inconsistencies in the writing, so you kind of felt like they didn't really think about these things when they were writing the script. They kind of just overlooked them and were like, oh crap, we need an explanation, let's give this explanation, but in the end it didn't end up making sense. So not really anything super bad, but it just definitely made the movie, it really doesn't bother you unless you're really critically thinking about it like I am. So I don't think an average moviegoer is going to notice stuff like that. In the end, Keanu was a really fun kind of action comedy movie with 2 really funny guys who have great chemistry together. And while some of the other actors in the movie were good, there were some really good ones, but then there was like, of course, the ones I'm like, oh my gosh, this is kind of stupid. There was some really hilarious scenes. There were some scenes I was cracking up in the theater. Like your movie has to be particularly funny for me in order for me to laugh out loud in a theater. Sometimes I'm just kind of chuckling, If your movie gets me to laugh out loud, that means you have entertained me well. And besides those other bad things, those few bad things that were wrong with the movie that I had a problem with, Keanu was a very fun time. It was a very surprising movie, something I didn't expect to be good whatsoever, especially in our state of comedy movies nowadays. And I gotta say that Keanu is definitely worth buying on Blu-ray. Guys, I really want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Also, may the 4th be with you. I hope this actually gets up on Star Wars Day. I'm wearing my Boba Fett shirt and my Star Wars socks. It's awesome. Other than that, future plans regarding my channel. I'm still going to try and do a Nostalgia S series. I think I'm going to start doing that after I'm done with my Uncharted 2 review, because I'm going to try and get that out before Uncharted 4 comes out. But I might not get Uncharted 3 out. I'm sorry about that, but I just never got around to really getting these reviews out. I should have really started earlier. But yeah, I think I'm going to start doing something like that after I'm done with Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 4 finally comes out. And then I might start doing some other reviews, just random reviews of stuff that I want to talk about. Because I need to talk about this movie, or I need to talk about this TV show because it's pretty awesome. I never talked about it on my channel. So I'm thinking about doing some of that stuff. Other than that, that's really all I have planned, and you should be expecting my Captain America Civil War review up this weekend sometime. Yeah. And other than that, guys, if you like Keanu, if you've seen it, comment below what you thought about it. And if you haven't seen it, what do you think of Key and Peele? Comment below what you think of them. I think they're actually pretty funny. Some of their sketches are funny, some of them are kind of like, but I really actually think they're a pretty funny duo. And with that, guys, I want to thank you again for watching. Goodbye.